ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिनि। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so we were reading verse 7, teachings of Queen Kunti. Just recapping. My dear Lord, whatever I have in my possession, I surrender unto you. And what do I have? I have this body and mind. I have a little home and my wife and children. But whatever I have, I surrender everything unto you. This is full surrender. Like I was saying in the prayers of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sharanagati. Actually, he explains what should be the mood of a grahastha, mainly when he's staying in the home, at home. What should be the mood? And very clearly, sum and substance is that everyone, irrespective male, female, father, mother, children, whatever our position be, we should consider ourselves the servants of the house. House belongs to Krishna. I am the servant of the house. For those who are earning livelihood for the house, they should think that I have been given this service to take care of the other devotees in the house by earning a livelihood. So that is my service. And then somebody who might be at home and taking care of the house should think that, okay, this is my service to nicely cook for Krishna, nicely worship Krishna, create environment, Krishna conscious environment in the house. All this the Matajis should think. And that's when a perfectly Krishna conscious house can come into existence. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that every house should become a temple. So a house is the temple, and everybody in the house are servants doing different services for the pleasure of the Lord. And in this mindset, or in this kind of way of life, there's no question of doing anything for ourselves. And anytime we think of ourselves different from being servant of Krishna, meaning if you think of myself as husband, owner of the house, or this and that and all that, immediately the thought should come to mind saying that I am just a servant. Everything just belongs to Krishna. Krishna has mercifully given me charge of these things in this life, and I should take care of it nicely and use them in his service. This has to be the mood of a grihastha. Many people think that, oh, okay, brahmachari, sannyasi is okay. It's all this is for them. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, specifically because he was in playing the role of a grihastha, most of what he has written is applicable for grihasthas, right? And he said that a grihastha, and he showed it in his own life. A grihastha should practice 8 hours bhakti in grihastha ashram, which is up to the age of 50, and then post that 16 hours bhakti. And being in that position, he has shown by his own example and teaching us. And that is why there are acharyas. So this is what all of us have to aspire for, to just live in the mood of a servant in Krishna's house. A devotee of Krishna surrenders unto Krishna without reservation. Without reservation. Reservation means, suppose say we are offering money to Krishna, Lakshmi to Krishna for Krishna service, then we'll be thinking, oh, who will give me if in case I need this money? And so we have reservations, we have concerns, we don't trust Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying we should surrender without reservation. Just like a child doesn't use any kind of logic to surrender to the parents. So we have to just simply surrender to the will of the Lord without We use our intelligence in the wrong place. Actually, our intelligence should be used to figure out how I can surrender without reservation. But instead of using intelligence there, we use intelligence to say how can I prevent myself from surrendering to Krishna. So misuse of intelligence. And therefore, he is called Akinchana. The word Kinchana refers to something one reserves for oneself, reserves for oneself, meaning this is for me. And Akinchana means that one does not keep anything for oneself. Of course, although actually one should surrender in this way, Prabhupada is making it very clear. In the material world, one should not artificially imitate those who are fully surrendered. Now, what is the difference between imitate, anukaran and anusaran? Imitate and follow in the footsteps. Imitate means trying to do something which is not suitable for a son in our position. For example, Raghunath Das Goswami's Vairagya. We should not try to imitate his Vairagya because it's too exalted. But we should follow in his footsteps, meaning that I have to develop renunciation. I have to develop Vairagya towards this material world. So I will do it step by step. Right? But not that, oh, no, this is not for me at all. And this, mood of renunciation is not for me at all. That's not correct. So we should follow in the footsteps, meaning, yes, I have to develop this Vairagya, but I can't develop Vairagya like Raghunath Das Goswami overnight, but I will slowly, steadily practice this. Otherwise, what is the point in reading about all these great souls, these great devotees? If everything we read, we think this is not meant for me. And then for whom has Prabhupada written all these books? For whom are these scriptures meant for? So we should not artificially imitate, but we should follow in their footsteps. According to the example set by Rupa Goswami, whatever possessions one has, one should give 50% for Krishna, 25% for one's relatives, who will also expect something, and one should keep 25% for personal emergencies. So basically, in other words, 25% for one's relatives, meaning family, basically, right? So we can use 25% for the maintenance of the family. 25% we should keep as for personal emergency, for the future bank balance, savings, right? And then 50% should be used for Krishna. This is what he has set example. Before his retirement, Rupa Goswami divided his money in this way, although later, when his brother Sanatana Goswami, another great devotee, was arrested, Rupa Goswami spent everything. He spent everything for Sanatana Goswami. Even the 25% for personal emergencies he did not keep. Of course, we cannot imitate this, right? This is full surrender. Similarly, Draupadi fully surrendered to Krishna without trying to save herself. And then unlimited yards of cloth were supplied, and the Kurus could not see her naked. And like I was saying yesterday, those who dare, those who dare fully surrender, they will experience Krishna in their life. But if we are not at that stage, then step by step we have to move towards this surrender. We should get inspired by these examples. Shastra, we are reading Shastra for personal application, not for information. That is why our scriptures, it's meant for Jnana and Vijnana. Knowledge and Vijnana. Vijnana means personal application. This is not for entertainment, that we are reading about all these people and saying, oh, wow, okay, this is very nice. Thank you. It's not for me. That's not the idea, right? The idea is that all of this is applicable to all of us. But each of us might be at different stages in our life, and we should make progress. We should move towards these, trying to come to the stage of being able to follow these examples set by these great devotees. But then in the next game of chess, the bet was that if the Pandavas lost the game, they would go to the forest for 12 years. Thereafter, they were to remain incognito for 1 year, and if detected, they would have to live in the forest again for another 12 years. This game also the Pandavas lost. So for 12 years, they lived in the forest, and for 1 year incognito. It was while they were living incognito that Arjuna won Uttara. These incidents are all recorded in the book known as the Mahabharata. The word Maha means great or greater, and Bharata refers to India. Thus, the Mahabharata is the history of the greater India. Greater India means not just India as we know it today, Bharata Varsha, the whole, all the 7 continents, etc. Sometimes people regard these accounts as stories or mythology. That is nonsense. Even Indians, without knowing the meaning of this word mythology, they call Ramayana Mahabharata as mythology. We should call it history. The Mahabharata and Puranas are itihasa, histories, although they are not chronological. If the history of such a vast period of time was recorded chronologically, how many pages would it have to be? So Prabhupada is saying that not every incident is recorded. Therefore, only the most important incidents are selected and described in the Mahabharata. Kunti prays to Krishna by describing how he saved the Pandavas on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Mrude mrude neka maharatha Maharatha astritaha. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there were great fighters called Maharathas. Just as military men in modern days are given titles like lieutenant, captain, commander, commander-in-chief, formerly there were titles like Ekaratha, Thiratha, Maharatha. The word Ratha means chariot. So if a warrior could fight against one chariot, he was called Ekaratha. If he could fight against thousands of chariots, he was called Maharatha. All the commanders on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were Maharathas. Many of them are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Bhishma, Karna, and Dronacharya were especially great commanders. They were such powerful fighters that although Arjuna was also a Maharatha, before them he was nothing. But by the grace of Krishna, he was able to kill Karna, Bhishma, Dronacharya, and others and come out victorious. So this is very important. See, we might look at ourselves and think we are insignificant, we are small. Of course, many times we don't think that way. We think that we are great, but actually, if we think about ourselves, especially when it comes to bhakti, we will think of ourselves as small. When it comes to material life, we think of ourselves as big, right? Material life will say, yes, I'll think life king size. And when it comes to bhakti, we will think like rat size, right? Oh, no, yeah, I will do preaching. I'll preach. I'm not a very good preacher. I will preach to 2 people. But if it comes to material, yeah, I will call 200 people for this program. So we are reversed in our thought process. So we should think of ourselves as Arjuna, insignificant. We are insignificant. What can we do? I'm an insignificant soul. I can't influence anything. I don't have any capability. But by the grace of Krishna, he was able to kill. By the grace of Krishna, anything is possible. Anything is possible in bhakti. But for that, we have to come to the platform of thinking I am insignificant. I am not capable. It's only by Guru and Krishna's mercy that something can happen. And if you're firmly fixed in that thought process, Krishna Guru will make wonders happen, and we'll become the instruments. And this can be experienced. This can be experienced in life. And we'll come out victorious. There's no doubt about it. While speaking with Shukadev Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit also referred to this. The battlefield of Kurukshetra, he said, was just like an ocean, and the warriors were like many ferocious aquatic animals. But by the grace of Krishna, my grandfather Arjuna crossed over this ocean very easily. So we can also cross over very easily, provided we have firm faith in Krishna and we depend on Krishna. This is very significant. We may have many enemies who may be very powerful fighters, but if we remain under the protection of Krishna, no one can do us any harm. Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rake Ke. He whom Krishna protects, no one can kill. But if Krishna wants to kill someone, no one can give him protection. For example, suppose a very rich man is suffering from disease. He may have a first-class physician, medicine, and hospital available for him, but still he may die. This means that Krishna desired this man must die. Therefore, the so-called protective methods we have devised will be useless if Krishna does not desire us to live. So we should understand this, that if Krishna doesn't desire something, it will not happen. And this is absolutely true in the life of devotees, because this statement we cannot make for non-devotees, because non-devotees actually Krishna doesn't personally get involved in their lives. He'll just leave it to Durga. Karma phala is just driving them, that's all. But for devotees, in the lives of devotees, especially surrendered devotees, Krishna personally takes care of their life. Personally. And he makes sure that whatever happens for the, and that is the best for the devotee. That is the best for the devotee. So we should be prepared to accept Krishna's will. But we are not. We want to rebel. We think that Krishna is not intelligent enough. I am more intelligent than Krishna. I know that this is how it should have been solved. Why Krishna did this way? So we lose trust in Krishna. But in the life of a devotee, whatever is happening is simply Krishna's will. The demon Ravana was very powerful, but when Krishna in the form of Lord Ramachandra desired to kill him, no one could protect him. Ravana was a great devotee of Lord Shiva and was praying to Lord Shiva, "Please come, save me from this danger." But Lord Shiva did not come. Then Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife, asked Lord Shiva, "What is this? He is such a great devotee and has served you so much. How he is in danger and is asking your help. Why are you not going to help him?" Lord Shiva replied, "My dear Parvati, what shall I do? I cannot give him protection. It is not possible. Why shall I go? Therefore, if God wants to kill someone, no one can give him protection. And if God wants to protect someone, no one can kill him." Rake Krishna mare Krishna rake ke. Thus Kunti is remembering how Krishna saved her and her sons one time after another. This is Smaranam, thinking of Krishna. Krishna, you are so kind to us that you saved us from many great dangers. Without you, there was no hope. Pure devotees realize this. They realize this. Then the last danger was Draunastra, the weapon of Ashwatthama, the son of Drona. Ashwatthama performed a most abominable act by killing the 5 sons of Pandavas. Of course, in the battle of Kurukshetra, both sides belonged to the same family, and practically everyone was killed. But the 5 sons of Pandavas survived. So Ashwatthama thought, if I kill these sons of the Pandavas and present their heads to Duryodhana, he will be very much pleased. Therefore, when the 5 sons were sleeping, he severed their heads, which he then presented to Duryodhana. At that time, Duryodhana was incapacitated, his spine was broken, and he could not move. Ashwatthama said, "I have brought the 5 heads of the Pandavas, my dear Duryodhana." At first, Duryodhana was very glad, but he knew how to test the heads to see whether they were in fact the heads of the Pandavas. When he pressed the heads collapsed. And Duryodhana said, "Oh, these are not the heads of the Pandavas. They must be the heads of their sons." When Ashwatthama admitted that this was so, Duryodhana fainted. And when he revived, he said, "You have killed all our hopes. I had hoped that in our family at least these 5 sons would survive, but now you have killed them." Thus in lamentation he died. See, even Duryodhana at the time of death was thinking little bit dharma. Subsequently, Arjuna arrested Ashwatthama and was going to kill him. In fact, Krishna ordered, "Kill him. He is not a Brahmana. He is less than a Shudra." But then Draupadi said, "I am suffering because of the death of my sons, and this rascal is the son of our Guru Maharaj, Dronacharya." Actually, Draupadi doesn't say this. This is Prabhupada's anger. Prabhupada's anger. He's saying this rascal is the son of our Guru Maharaj, Dronacharya, who has done so much for us. If Ashwatthama dies, then Dronacharya's wife, our mother Guru, will be very much unhappy. So release him and let him go away. Thus Arjuna freed Ashwatthama. But then Ashwatthama, having been insulted, retaliated by unleashing a Brahmastra. The Brahmastra is something like a nuclear weapon. It can go to the enemy wherever he is and kill him. Ashwatthama knew. The last descendant of the Kuru family is Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu. He's in the womb of Uttara. So let me kill him also. And then the entire dynasty will be finished. See, if you look at Ashwatthama, right? Will of the Lord, whatever you want to call it, he just did not learn. He killed the sleeping sons of Pandavas. Duryodhana disapproved of his action. Still, he did not stop. Still, he did not stop. So we might do a mistake, we might do something wrong, but we should be in the midst of devotees who can pull us out of it, right? And that is why association is so very important. We should not end up being like Ashwatthama, repeatedly doing the same mistake again and again, again and again. When that weapon was unleashed, Parikshit Maharaj's mother Uttara felt that she was going to have a miscarriage, and therefore she approached Krishna saying, "Please save me, Krishna, Krishna Mahabaho." He calls out to Krishna, "Please save me, Krishna." Krishna, by his mystic power, therefore entered the womb of Uttara and saved the child. After the battle of Kurukshetra, Parikshit Maharaj, who was still in the womb of his mother, was the last remaining descendant of the Pandavas. And in mature time, when he was born, only his grandfathers were still alive. Parikshit Maharaj was the son of Abhimanyu, who was the son of Arjuna and Subhadra, Krishna's sister. When Abhimanyu was 16 years old, he went to fight, and 7 great commanders joined forces to kill him. Subhadra had only one grandchild, Parikshit Maharaj. As soon as he grew up, the entire estate of the Pandavas was entrusted to him, and all the Pandavas left home and went to the Himalayas. So they retired. In Bhagavatam, this chapter is called Pandavas Retire Timely. So we should also retire timely from material life and dedicate the rest of our life for achieving Krishna Prema, achieving perfection. Not spend our whole life engaged in material things. Prabhupada said 15 to 18 years, full time bhakti, one can achieve perfection. And this history is described in the Mahabharata. Many great misfortunes befell the Pandavas, but in all circumstances, they simply depended on Krishna, who always saved them. Rakshishyati iti vishwaso, avashya rakshibe Krishna. Rakshishyati iti vishwaso. We should have firm faith that Krishna will protect. Krishna will protect. What will Krishna protect? Krishna will protect our bhakti for sure. And if required, he will protect our material life also. That he knows how and in what way it has to be protected. But he will definitely protect. He will definitely protect us. And that faith the Pandavas had. So in all circumstances, they simply depended on Krishna. And who always saved them. See, Krishna is not a hypocrite. Krishna is not somebody who makes a promise and breaks it. He's a gentleman. Krishna is a gentleman. If he's made a promise that you surrender unto me, I will protect me, he will protect us. There is no doubt about it. It's just the lack of faith, our lack of faith. That's all. Queen Kunti's response to these misfortunes is recorded in the next verse. So it's such a really, beautiful, beautiful book this is. Practical for every jiva, every human being in this material world, suffering in the, in this dukhalayam. These verses are really, they just, what can you say? It's perfect for us to enter into, we should enter into the mood of these verses. And so beautifully written by Prabhupada, see, that is why I say, what will we understand by reading this much? By reading this translation, what can we understand? So perfectly Prabhupada makes it applicable to us. right? And if we read these verses, these Prabhupada's purport statements again and again, we cannot be confused. We cannot be confused about what we should be doing, what we should not be doing. We have to just pay attention. More than attention, I keep recommending to devotees saying, please make notes. Please make notes. Our limited brain capacity, our limited memory will not serve us, right? So we have to make notes. And I've showed multiple times. All these online. Everything that I read, I have notes, right? And we should make notes. And what is the idea of making notes? That when we are hearing something, when we are reading something, something impacted us immensely. Immediately we write it down because we can by practice experience this. Next time we read the same statement again, we again get excited, we again get inspired, we again get motivated. And in the middle, we lose our motivation, saying, who wants to do all this? I'll fall back to my natural self, right? And then, but when we come back and read these statements again we get inspired, again we get motivated. And that's how we make progress. That's how we make progress. And this inspiration has to come from within, right? It cannot be that, somebody might tell 150 things to us, right? But only what we want to accept will enter. So that is why those who hear open-minded, open-minded manner, without holding back, without reservation, these statements will change the heart. There's no way it cannot change, because it is carrying. These are Krishna's words. They're carrying his potency. Because Prabhupada said these are Krishna. These are all written by Krishna, not by me. So we have to just simply try to hear with attention, without reservation, and these books will change our life, no doubt about it. Okay, I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, comments, please feel free.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, regarding the notes that you are saying, so when we prepare notes, after
Yeah.
that, what should be what should be ideally when we should be revising it or rereading
Yeah,
the
every week we should go through whatever I've written this week, what all have I written.
Okay.
And in that, some become second nature, as in it already entered our way of thinking, our conscience, etc. Some might not have entered. And those we should meditate upon, mark those statements again for review again after a week. So the whole idea is everything that we have written should become internalized. Should become part of our nature, part of our thinking process, part of our how we are living life today. Then automatically we'll remember also. How do we remember to say whatever if I'm giving a class, whatever I'm saying, how is it coming? It is that these statements which I've heard again and again repeatedly, which have got so ingrained in me that naturally these statements come out when we are trying to talk about some topic. So it should become like that. It should become internalized in our thought process, right? And all other nonsense things, nonsense thought process should be thrown out, and only Prabhupada's thought process should be retained. That is how, and that is how we should read. That is why we should read.
So should we reread the book also after a week, or we need
No,
to
no, no, no. We
stay the
can't
notes?
do that. No,
Yeah,
then we will be stuck with only one book or one page or one paragraph.
correct.
We read something, we make notes, we continue our reading. At the end of the week, we revisit those notes, try to internalize those aspects which we are not already internalized, and so on. And every week, so you have to keep, like, for example, one day in a week, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, maybe, and it won't take more than a couple of hours for us to go over whatever notes we have made in the week.
Correct.
And that's all. It's a very simple process. But if properly done, it will, see, we have to change ourselves. We have so much of kachada in our heads, right? That has
Correct.
to go out, and clean stuff, proper stuff has to come and sit in our heads, right? So the cleaning process is this reading, eliminating waste from our head, and retaining, proper stuff. This is the process of reading Shavanam, whatever. I mean, even if you are hearing, for that matter, if you are hearing from bona fide speakers, then that also will have should have the same impact. Cannot have any different impact. Actually, unfortunately, the way one, I mean, even today on temples, Vyasas and devotees who come and give classes. Ideally, this is how classes should happen, where a preacher, speaker is reading from Prabhupada's purpose and trying to explain those statements. This is how classes are supposed to happen. But yeah, today we have all variations. It's okay anyway. We should at least try to follow this practice.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, can you help us, once again show it how the notes is little like any guidelines on the notes we're making?
No, notes, everybody's notes is different. So, in terms of structure, I can show just.
Yes, can you please show us once this weekend sometime?
Yeah, I'm just showing now. So generally, I mean, the notes, I mean, this is how I make notes, wherein say particular words. If the verse itself is very, very important, then then I, as it is, copy the verse itself, right? And important Sanskrit verse for us to remember, then I note the Sanskrit verse also. And then I just make note of the important points from the purport as I'm reading. And this is how it is. And I have some color coding. Each of us can have our own color coding, right? But it just shows that something black is information, meaning this is already internalized for me in my psyche. Yellow or orange means that something for application. I'm yet to internalize this. Red means super important for application. So something like that. I have my own color coding, and each of us can have our own.
This really helps. This really helps, Prabhuji.
But this is the only way we should be reading. Yeah, literally. And each of our notes will be different because what impacted you will be different from what impacted me. Okay. I mean, in fact, when I still have almost like 15, 20 books in which from the time I came into Krishna consciousness, previously I used to handwrite notes, like literally like preparing for an exam. And those books are still there. I maintain those books just to, remember. There's a lot of effort that one has to put in Krishna consciousness. Anyway, the more sincere we are, the more impact Prabhupada's books will have on us. Okay, anything else? Okay, we'll end here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.